my Lanta, I live, to quote my favorite Mushu. I have not uploaded an episode since March 11th. So much and so little has happened, if that makes any sense. And you know what I was thinking? Maybe I've been super depressed lately. Just maybe. Because I haven't been uploading these episodes. I literally feel better just plugging in this tiny microphone and beginning to speak. And y'all know I'm about to ramble about nothing. But it really does feel better. Happy Easters, by the way. It is Easter Sunday, and I hope everybody's having a better Easter than what I am. I am alone in the middle of nowhere, and I've been wearing pajamas all day. And embroidering hoops. I have been embroidering the quote from Nacho Libre. Do you not realize I have had diarrhea since Easter's? I have been making a bunch of those to sell them to you guys on my Instagram stories because, like I said, so much and so little has happened. I'm hurting. I'm hurting to get back and start fixing this camper. And the money is not flowing into my account. TikTok is no longer paying my bills. As you know, I took a break from wedding singing, and it's getting into wedding season now, but I would have had to have booked weddings the past year or two, you know, to be able to sing in a wedding because people plan their weddings years in advance, you know. So it's not like I can be like, oh, let me go book some weddings and I'm going to sing next weekend. No, it doesn't work like that. So I have been doing DIY crafts in the car to try and make a little bit of moolah because, okay, am I getting into it? Am I getting into it right now? Take a breath. Deep breath, Jennifer. Okay. That was me rewinding. I am on the road. Back to an area that I was previously in Pennsylvania. I was headed south. And a lot of shit has happened to my car. So, I figured the next, 20, 30 minutes that I have to drive, that I could grab my tiny mic and start talking because surprisingly, I got some comments. I don't know if it was Instagram or TikTok, but somebody was asking me what's going on with the podcast. And I was like, what? People are listening to this? I mean, like, I can see how many people listen to my episodes, but it's so few people now that I was just assumed it was like my sisters and, you know, nosy family members. I don't know. I know there's like maybe a handful of you guys that I can think of off the top of my head that listen to this, and you guys kind of send me messages here and there on Instagram, following up after the episodes, and I love that. And I just feel really bad. I'm sorry that I've been slacking and behind, and that it was maybe something you looked forward to. It's therapy for me, so I don't know if maybe it's some sort of therapy for you, and I apologize. Also, I have found myself going back to, I may have mentioned in the past, XO McKenna's channel on YouTube. I'm obsessed with her. I've been obsessed with her for years. We have the exact same style. Like, literally every time this woman creates something, she's like, I've never seen this done, and I've never seen anyone do this or think of this before, and I had this wild idea, and I decided to create it. I was like, what? I literally, if I didn't have such terrible depression, I would have done that exact same thing, or I thought of that, or, oh my gosh, I thought of that years ago, and I just don't do it. I just don't act on my ideas, and she does. I don't know how this woman is alive. I don't know how she sleeps, when she sleeps, but literally every single day of her life, she is building from the ground up a new home in Texas, and then she also bought a home in LA, that she's redoing, and constantly DIYing things. And literally she just built her kitchen cabinets and her like island and everything, like carpentry, built them from scraps of wood herself. And I don't know why I'm getting off into a tangent about this, but that reminds me that I've always wanted to do like a home decor type of episode, or DIY and home styling episode. And it's so funny because she just started a podcast of her own, and that's all she talks about is like remodeling and refinishing and rebuilding, all that kind of stuff, like just home stuff. And that's what her podcast is about. And when I first started this, that's what mine was kind of going to be geared towards, because I had my home at the time. But y'all know my life is a shit show. But anyways, all that rambling to say, I have found myself going back to her channel, and now I have another outlet, her podcast, of just something to keep me company. And ew, I'm gonna get emotional. Why do I sing that every time? Every episode when I'm about to cry, I start singing. But I don't like feeling alone and lonely. I like having somebody there. That's why, like, I tried going live on TikTok recently when I was embroidering my little projects. And then somebody keeps reporting my lives for some stupid reason, and I keep getting banned on TikTok, so I can't do that anymore. But the reason I do that is just because I like to know that there's a person there. Like, even if you're across the country, like, there's another soul and spirit with me, keeping me company, and I'm not alone, because I've just felt really, really lonely lately, and I'm really depressed. And y'all heard my last episode, partially why I haven't uploaded in all this time, because I'm still just coming down from that terrible high, and then more things have happened. And I'm sure you've seen my post on Instagram about the song that Jonathan wrote that is so disgusting and embarrassing that I've debated taking down here and there, because I didn't want to like shame him or embarrass him. But I said 0 words. He said it himself. He exposed himself, and it's like maybe a tiny little insight into what I've been dealing with, but y'all know nothing. It has been horrendous. And to be honest right now, if I wanted to get into the worst and best parts of my week, obviously it's been like 4 weeks, so I don't even, y'all, it's been bad. But I guess just to kind of recap the last 4 weeks, the worst part has been waking up alone in this Jeep, either freezing or burning up, because you know what it's like living out of a car. Maybe you don't. But the fact that I live out of a fucking car, the worst part has been that I'm again kind of back in a mental space of absolutely hating my life. I hate my life. I hate it. I'm trying not to cry like a lot because I can't freaking see because I'm driving. But I have nothing. And ew, please don't like message me with pity or feeling sorry for me. This is just, like I said, this is therapy for me. This is venting, and I'm being honest right now. But like, I literally had everything I've ever dreamed of, and now I have literally none of it except for myself. And y'all know I love myself so much. I love my heart, I love my soul, my spirit, who I am. But the fact that I've been waking up recently again with those thoughts of like, I don't want to be here. Like, why am I here? Why was I put on this earth for people just to like hurt me and make me suffer? Like, why do I constantly like, I was promised and vowed to on my wedding day that I would never feel alone again, and that's all I feel. And I hate it. I hate not having a place to live, a home. I hate that, like, to take a shower, I have to carry around a fucking shower bag. Like, I hate this. There's bits and pieces of my life that I don't hate, that I would feel horrible if the wrong person heard this and took it the wrong way, you know? I don't hate the people in my life. I just hate what it has become. Like, I'm 32 years old. Ew, I haven't even spoken to you guys since my birthday. Yeah. I just turned 32, March 14th, and I live out of a car. I no longer have a house. I no longer have pets. I don't have my partner. I have acquaintances and relationships and stuff recently that I adore, and I don't know where I stand, and I'm just like, I backtracked and I'm living the life of a freaking teenager, 20-year-old, like, who just has nothing. And it's really, really hard, like, watching everybody's, like, Easter pictures and the families and pregnancy announcements. Like, pregnancy announcements are really, really hard. And seeing people's families grow and relationships, like, continue to go on that have been together as long as John and I were. And just nothing makes sense. And I absolutely did not mean to get into this. This was actually going to be a really fun episode. So I am sorry, but I guess I had to get that out. Worst part of my week. Worst part of my month. Yeah, March is John and I's birthday, both of our birthdays, and what was our anniversary month. And I don't know. It used to be my favorite month of the year. The last couple years, I've realized that spring is my favorite season, and I have been dying. Obviously, I hate winter. Dying for spring. Summer used to be my favorite season, and now it's spring because I was like, oh, like, I am so happy this time of year because the trees are blossoming, and so many of them have flowers. Like, I'm looking around right now driving in Pennsylvania. Yellow flowers, pink flowers, white flowers, red buds. Like, it is so cute, and they're not going to last. They're going to fall off, and then the leaves are going to grow, and it's going to be summer. But it's just like everybody's finally taking off their coats, and they're walking around in tank tops because 40, 50 degrees feels like summer to them. Like, I've just wanted to go and sit in parks and enjoy the sunlight, and oh my gosh, it's wonderful. And then I realized a couple years ago, I was like, oh my gosh, and my birthday's in March, and usually in Indiana it's really, really rainy and gloomy and sometimes snows. Like, sometimes it snows into, like, May in Indiana. But I was still like, March is my favorite month because I know what I'm looking forward to in spring. And now I'm like, I hate it. I hate my birthday month so much. There's, like, too many memories, and it's just, like, really, really hard to live with in my mind. And honestly, I don't think I ever heal from what I've been going through. I really don't. Should I see a therapist? Yes, but I also am, like, very, very mentally self-aware. And I know what they're gonna say, and I know the methods that they use for coping and yada yada. Like, I already know I'm gonna feel miserable. All of this stuff that I'm blabbing about and talking about on this podcast, I'm gonna have to say again to a new person who knows nothing about me. Like, I'd literally just rather talk to you guys, aka myself. Sorry for the sniffling and stuff, and for the loud car noises because I'm driving. Yeah, I don't truly ever see myself healing from what's been going on. It's just something it's always going to be with me, and whether or not one day I end up loving my life again or feeling loved again, it's still going to be here. So, ew, now that I got that out of the way, ew, for real. I'm so glad I named this podcast Ew, for real, because I say it all the time. Anyways, next segment, because I'm here to red light. Oh, I just listened back to the audio. I'm so sorry for, like, the weird swooshy noises in the background of this. It's because my phone, this app, which I love, the Anchor app, is trying to eliminate background noise. But since I'm driving, it's so loud, it just sounds kind of like a weird whispery echo of myself talking. So, anyways, sorry for that. I had to pull over because my GPS took me to the wrong Dunkin'. And I do not feel safe wherever it is that I'm at. So, what was I saying? Best parts of my week. I'm going to follow up. Number one, I already talked about it. The trees are gorgeous. If you know me, you know I am obsessed with trees. Literally, I'm the weirdo that I will hug a tree. Wait, is this where I'm supposed to go? Hang on. Yeah. Okay. I had to take an exit ramp. Let me make sure that this thing is still recording. Also, my phone is gonna die. I am a mess. I'm just a hot mess. Anyways, the trees are gorgeous. It's spring. Like I said, March was my favorite month, and deep down it still is, but it's very painful, so I'm kind of glad that it's over. Oh my gosh, look, a really, really dry desert Sahara ski that looks like a ski, what do you call it? Not a hill, a ski mountain. I can tell, I'm looking into the mountains up in front of me, and I can see like the lifts and like the swirly twirly state of, like, it's a mountain that you ski down. It's very obvious, but it's literally dry. It looks like fire has hit it. It's because there's no snow here in Pennsylvania. It's quite nice these days. Which, tangent, anybody who likes skiing and snowboarding, have you ever seen those videos on Instagram and TikTok and stuff of people skiing on that, on just like dryness and dirt and grass, and there's no snow? Like, literally, how? That sounds so painful and just looks not fun. It kind of looks fun because it's like weird. Who the heck skis down literally nothing, and there's like one little patch of snow the mile down that you ski? Anyways, that looked really strange, so I pointed it out because squirrel, that's my brain. Let me get back to the navigation app. On the road again. I'm kind of tired of being on the fucking road again. I already explained why. Okay, exit 25. Don't let me miss it, guys. So best part was, yes, the trees and the weather's warming up, and another best part is gotta double up on the good. Gotta double up on the good. I don't know, maybe I'll just go with, I was gonna say, like, I treated myself to like Olive Garden randomly, and I've been treating myself to Dunkin', and I was just like I said, I'm hurting. My bank account is hurting, and my back is hurting. Oh my god, from this time around sleeping in the Jeep, I have really comfy like 3-inch memory foam mats that I sleep on top of. But underneath those, I've been storing my coats because it was really cold in Colorado, and I knew it was going to be cold here in Pennsylvania, so I brought my coats with me, and it is making my bed so bumpy, and I don't know where else to put my coats, and I can't stand like the messy, claustrophobic mess in here, so my back is hurting. But what was I saying? I don't know why I was saying I was hurting had anything to do with treating myself, but I guess I'll do a third good thing is these freaking embroidery projects. I am so proud of myself. I didn't even know when I first started, literally 2 years ago on Instagram, when it's vintage, can you blame me? When that was like all the hoot, then people actually said it, and I made videos with it all the time. I started embroidering things, and I didn't realize how much there is to embroidering, and like less threads makes the work more dainty and small, and how to separate the threads from each other. I thought you were supposed to like literally always keep all 6 of the threads together and use it that way, and it was like, it's so hard unless you had thick fabric. And if you don't know anything about embroidery, you're probably like, what the fuck are you talking about right now, Jenny? But that's what I'm saying is I've been watching videos and just like listening to McKenna and hanging out with her on YouTube while I'm embroidering these projects, and I just like, oh my gosh, the cute little French knot flowers and the wagon wheel flowers and just different ways to do stem stitches, and it's just so much fun. It has brought me so much joy, and I would love to like actually make this a thing and like post a bunch of them on my artsy Instagram page and sell them forever. But I'm probably, because I have ADHD, I'm not going to stick to this forever, and I'm just going to use this creative outlet for like merch and stuff. But doing merch is not going to do anything right now because I'm not even getting views on my TikTok videos. Social media has been horrendous. Like back in the day, even now, I'm grateful for 27 likes, 45 likes on a photo. Like, who cares? It's a post and they're likes, and that doesn't matter. And I've always told you guys, it's not about that to me. But when I don't have a steady income 9-to-5 job anymore, and haven't been in the wedding industry for a while, and I have a gigantic storage unit that I have to pay for, and I live out of my car, which saves on rent, and that's great, but that means I have to have money to fix my car issues, and those are very, very expensive. I need some income, and 27 likes on my Instagram posts and 100 views on my TikTok videos is not gonna cut it. It's not doing it for me. And I have been very upset because I've gone back to my niche and people were upset that I wasn't posting videos of me traveling anymore, but now I am and they don't care anymore. Like, I'm very irrelevant, and like I give a crap, I don't. But I've really, really always enjoyed social media and making content and stuff. So anything that I can do right now creatively is going to help me tremendously. And I just have really enjoyed it, even if I don't make a ton of money from it, you know? Like, it has been so much fun to sit there and just hyper focus on these things. So, oh my gosh, so bumpy, sorry. Hyper focus on these projects to distract me from the bad parts of my week when I'm waking up saying I hate my life. You know what I mean? But that's life, right? It all balances itself out. And I found my regular Dunkin', and I'm going to walk in and they're going to be like, oh my God, this girl is back. It's been a couple days since she's been here, and she's walking in with her old lady embroidery shit again. What is she doing? I posted on my stories recently, actually. The young kids at Dunkin' keep coming up to me and asking what I'm working on. And oh my God, I felt so dumb when I was like, oh, just funny movie quotes, and selling them to my like social media friends and followers. And I showed them the hoop, and it said, I've had diarrhea since Easter's. And she's like, oh yeah, that's really cute, that's really pretty. She was actually being really, really sweet about it. But I was like, it's a movie quote, have you seen Nacho Libre? And they were like, no, what's that? I'm like, oh my God, nobody's seen Nacho Libre. I'm so old. Also, I look even more stupid sitting here embroidering hoops. Like the weirdo that I am. They have the word diarrhea beautifully calligraphied and stitching on them. I can't. But it's been so fun. So thank you guys to those of you who have reached out or given me suggestions for fun things to embroider, or who have purchased one. All of the proceeds for these creative projects that I've been doing, and when I was doing home decor renovations for people, it's all going towards fixing my camper, because I think I've mentioned on here, and my insurance is not going to cover repairs for the camper. So I not only paid $8,000 for a little home to live from that I haven't been able to live from, but now it's probably molding and rotting from the rain in Indiana because of the wreck that I got into with it. And I've just been very depressed thinking about having to go back to that. And I want to fix it from the ground up and DIY the crap out of that thing. But I also, I'm not going to be able to afford that either. So I'm just very curious where this summer is going to take me, because to be honest, guys, in the back of my mind, I was like, I should just sell it, or sell it for parts and try to find another one. But I know I'm not going to find one like this, and that makes me so mad because it was vintage. Can you believe me? And I ruined it. Oh my God. But I might bring you inside the Dunkin' with me while I keep stitching these little things. But then they're really going to think I'm crazy, because now I'm talking to myself. Or they're going to see my little mic and be like, lady. Or I can spin this to my advantage and do what I've been wanting to do as I travel and interview people on the road. I've really, really just wanted to stop and interview people, but I want to do it at an antique mall. And I wanted to make TikTok videos out of it. So I don't know what to do. I'm just all over the place. I just wanted to say hi and tell you that I'm alive and that I hate my life. I'm just kidding. But I know I shouldn't have those thoughts, and I know that the horrible things that I think and feel are not true, but when you let toxicity back into your life, and let people manipulate and be in control of your heart and your emotions, it's really hard to get out of that rut, you know? So I've just been trying to focus on the good relationships and good friendships that I've been building, but I'm still really lonely because, you know, I just met these people. They don't know much about me, and I feel like when I unleash my inner Jenny and let loose and just completely be myself, that I am a lot. I'm a lot to handle, and
I already feel like I'm not enough, but then when I do feel like I'm enough, I feel like I'm too much. And I know that that's not true. And I know that others of you, I'm sure, relate to these feelings of back and forthedness and nonsense-ness. But, yeah, I don't know what else is going to fix this. They're feelings that I've held on to since I was a little girl, that I let go of for 13 years because I felt very safe and loved. And then my trust and heart was broken down to the core and worse than what it ever was before. And so now I just really don't trust people, and I don't like opening up, and I don't like new relationships and new friendships. I just wanted to be true to who I always was and be me, and for people to stick, and they just don't seem to stick. So yeah, that's what I was saying. I don't feel like I'm ever gonna heal from this, but I can distract myself and I can find happiness in other areas, and I just feel like it's going to be happiness that's not like really truly to the core happiness of who I am. But does that make sense? I'm sure somebody out there's got to relate to this, but I'm very sorry if I'm bringing you down. I didn't mean to. That drive was actually a lot quicker than what I was expecting, but in a few minutes here, I'm going to update you on what's going on with my travels, because I did intend to bring you with me and like kind of grab this little mic every day and check in on where I was at and what I was visiting and what I was up to and exploring, and it's just been really weird. So we'll get to that in a second. Let me go feel out my feelers at how it is at this Dunkin', if my table with an outlet to charge this generator is available. Okay, I'll be right back.
We're gonna laugh. I might cry and I'm gonna wanna tell you why, because hey, well that's just life.
Well, The Adventures of Bad Luck Jenny. Talk about wanting to have consistent content. Y'all, I killed her off. I don't even know. What has it been, 2 years now since I said I was going to stop making Bad Luck Jenny content because I don't want to manifest these things, and people always were taking me seriously and it was just supposed to be a joke. But after I killed her off, if you even know what I'm talking about, my alter ego, Bad Luck Jenny, it all started with a lot of car issues, which is funny because we're going to get into it. But I could be making so much content consistently if I brought her back to life. But for now, it's just, it is what it is, I guess. So honestly, the, quality of this audio may be a little better. I don't know, because that little microphone was jank, but I can't find it. I lost it between here and the Dunkin' when I sat to embroider, and I couldn't finish the podcast. I was so tired. Sorry, that was a yawn. But I couldn't finish the podcast in there because my phone was dying and I had to plug it in to charge. And I can't have the microphone plugged in at the same time while it's charging. So all that to say, I don't know what happened to the microphone. So right now, I am underneath my blankets inside of Jimena. My hands are frozen. I've embroidered so many projects. I cannot feel my fingers any longer, but I'm also under the blanket because it will help recording sound quality, and I literally, I'm freezing to death if I pop my face out of here, so it feels really good. All my warm hot Cheeto breath is keeping me nice and toasty. What am I saying? Anyways, so we're going to finish it up in here in Jimena, and hopefully y'all don't hear incessant honking. So what I was going to catch you guys up on was I got to Pennsylvania, spent some time with my friend, and had a great time. And then he had to go to a work outing like an hour and a half from here, and I was leaving to part ways to start driving to Texas. So it kind of all worked out with timing. I did so many things in Pennsylvania for the first time. One of them being finally going to one of those break rooms. It's called a rage room. This one was called break room. And so it was very interesting. If you've ever wanted to go to one of those rage rooms, I'm not sure if they're all like this, but this one, guys, you walk in and they're like, hi, what would you like to purchase? I'm like, what? And it's basically a thrift store. It's literally like a thrift store in there. There's all kinds of like, I felt awful just shopping for vintage and antique items that I knew I was going to break and smash and throw up against the wall. Like the amount of items in amber glassware and the green glassware and yellow, like all colors of the rainbow, beautiful glassware, stoneware, china. People would have a heart attack if they saw what was in there. So basically you walk in and you purchase things that you're going to break. So they have some bins that are like $5 to break all these like little bottles. Or you can buy this big bin for $40. And then they have this section over here. They're like heart-shaped things themed for like a date night. So the date night package was like $35 or something like that. And we went around St. Patty's, so they had a big toilet, and it was filled with gold foam, and it was called the Pot of Gold. And it was like $40 to purchase the toilet, so you break it, but then at the bottom of the toilet, it gives you get a little prize or whatever. And basically, it was like a coupon to come back again for a date night or whatever. And then there's a whole section of like printers for $5. Here's all the TVs between $5 and $10. Here's all the mirrors. And it was so cool. Oh, and there was a bunch of like liquor bottles. So there were wine bottles and like whiskey bottles and stuff. And so I picked like, my favorite type of alcohol. Like I got a Rumpelminz bottle that we get to smash, and you can pick like 13 pieces from the shelf for $20 or something like that. I don't know. It was very interesting. So we got this big, like all these baskets full of things, these crates full of items to take into a room, and then you smash them and they just let you go ham. The only thing that they required us to wear were little glasses and some gloves. They were like, we have some overalls and aprons and stuff, but you don't have to wear that. Play whatever you want over this Bluetooth speaker. Here's the remote for like the strobe lights and things like that, and just have fun. And there was no time limit or anything. Like we could have just stayed in there all day, and it was very interesting. I just was not expecting that. So you're gonna catch me yawning a lot. It is it's 2 a.m, and I promised you guys that I was gonna have this episode up tonight, as in yesterday, on Easter Sunday, and I'm already late because I was trying so hard to find that freaking microphone. But anyways, I'm the worst. I'm literally the worst. Why do you guys even listen to this? So we did that when I got here. Just tried a bunch of different like restaurants and some breweries. I got a bunch of content for like my TikToks. My favorite TikToks that I make are those satire videos where I'm like, things I did in Colorado. And then I have a bunch of like video footage of the things that I'm doing, but I like called, instead of saying I went skiing, I said I went skateboarding. And then instead of saying I went snowboarding, I said I don't even know what I said at this, like playing basketball or something. I don't know. They're very sarcastic, and just like some of the videos that I take in places are so random that it just makes me die laughing. I just look forward to making these satire videos. So I got a bunch of like nice footage in Pennsylvania to make my fun TikTok that literally nobody's gonna watch. Those videos don't go anywhere, and it makes me so sad because you put so much time and effort and like editing and care and humor into these videos, and I don't know if you've ever tried to edit a long video on TikTok before, but it is horrendous. I just now started using CapCut to edit videos, which, by the way, if you try to edit videos or make Instagrams or TikToks and things like that, CapCut is much better. Back in the day, I used to use iMovie for everything, and then that started getting really buggy and glitchy. And CapCut so far is not buggy and glitchy. So there's a little random disclaimer for y'all if you need. But those videos have been absolute hell to make. And at the end, then I'm like, oh, now I got to put captions. Now I got to do voiceover. Now I got to add music and what kind of funny music. And I'm going to find for the background. And then it starts processing. And then it says, no, unable to upload. And then I got to turn off my phone and turn it back on. It's just ridiculous to make these videos that I absolutely love that no one sees. I hate it. I'm just like, right now, my life is just a freaking shit show. It's just in shambles, and social media isn't just not doing anything for my life. But I continue to make them because it really does bring me joy. I love editing. I love all of the little DIY projects that I've been doing. I love doing makeovers, and none of it is bringing anything to my life except for internal joy, and that's fine. And this is your reminder to just keep doing the things that make you happy, because that's all that matters in the end, is whether or not you're happy. And you might not always make money from it. You might not always get recognition or credit or thanks or appreciation or anything like that, but you will get joy from doing something that you love. That's all. A lot of tangents in this episode. That's it. That's all you get. So what else did I do in Pennsylvania? Just a lot of driving around looking at the mountains. It's not as mountainous as, well, it is. I was going to say it's not as mountainous as, is that a word? As Colorado is. But I've only been to Colorado in the winter, where there's just snow everywhere, and the mountains are covered in snow, and the mountains are also much more pointy. The pointy hills, as I said in my satire videos. I just drove around and looked at all the pointy hills. Well, the pointy hills here in Pennsylvania are not as pointy. Maybe I'll do something with that, and I got to mention that in my satire video for Pennsylvania. They're not covered in snow right now, and they're not pointy. And I'm not sure if I've ever seen mountains not in the snow before in my life. I guess as I was a really little girl, at one point I was in Cali in Washington with my tia Rosita, my aunt up there, but I was really little. I don't remember really seeing mountains. But anyways, it was just very interesting to see mountains not covered in snow. And they look pretty dead right now because they're just covered in trees, and the trees don't have leaves really. But they're starting to come alive again, and it's looking really pretty now. And they're just it just looks like big rolling hills. And it probably sounds so dumb talking about this because so many people live in the mountains. But I'm telling you, a girl from Indiana, my whole adult and teenage life, I've just looked at nothing but roads full of potholes. That's what Indiana has, roads full of potholes. And people say it in cornfields everywhere, but I didn't really live in an area where there were a ton of cornfields. Every once in a while you get a cornfield. When you go a little bit more south or a little bit more east of where I was. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm just going to keep saying sorry for yawning. I know it's annoying. But yeah, I love the view of the mountains, and I'm not used to it. So it was interesting seeing different hilly mountains. And then when I'm in one place for an extended amount of time, I just like to see the little towns, and you find your favorite, for example, my favorite Dunkin', my favorite Walmart. When I'm staying in the car, I've realized I feel safest staying at Walmarts. And there are places around here that I guess I could have just stayed in the wilderness, as I would love to do if I were to ever go west and just be an actual nomad. I would love that. But then it's going to be a little bit harder being conspicuous with a camper. So I really don't know what's going to happen. But I just, for some reason, I just feel more safe at a Walmart. When it's open in the morning, I can go in and brush my teeth and use the bathroom, and I don't have to be miserable using my Shiwi and brushing my teeth with the like little pour spout water thingy that I have. Like, I have everything that I need, but I think what has happened is I have been much more depressed this time around traveling. I do not have the mental capacity or the physical energy as I did like when I was in Florida. And I wish I had done the podcast when I was down there in those states, because anybody who's listening to this that doesn't really follow my social media is probably like, what are you talking about? But traveling in Florida, like I went all the way to the Keys. I was in South Carolina forever, and I was in Florida for a long time, actually. Where else did I go? I don't remember where I went. Oh, I traveled from Indiana all the way to Colorado, and then I drove from Colorado to Florida. I'm insane. I cannot believe I freaking did that. But that was an adventure, and I did much more like just rugged, toughing it out, and washing my dishes with the jug of water that I have in the car, and then hanging my clothes to dry. Like, it was just insane. And I think, I don't know, relationships that I have right now were newer and sweeter and fresher, and I don't know, I felt more, what's the word? I guess I felt more important to people. And then previous relationships were pretty much still keeping in contact and in my life. And I don't know, I think I had a lot of hope. I had a lot of hope in those months and those times. And my friend Shelly met me in Florida, and we went to Disney World for the first time, and I was just running on adrenaline from never having been to the Keys before and driving all the way down there. And I just, I don't fucking feel like doing any of that right now. I'm trying to survive, to be honest. I had a lot more money at the time. Like, it's just been very interesting. So I've pretty much stayed safely. I've made like little window covers, and I did a little bit more like soundproofing and lightproofing my car, and I've been a little bit more aware of my surroundings, hyper aware. And I felt more safe staying at a Walmart when I'm not with friends. And when I was with friends, it was a lot of just hanging out and quality time and cooking dinner together and playing video games together. And I don't know, I had a bathroom, and I was sharing a bathtub, and oh my gosh, it was so nice. And now I don't have any of that. So being alone in the car has just put me back to this very like, okay, I'm lonely. And so let's go to Dunkin' today and be creative and try to make some money and stare at the mountains. And but then the good part of traveling is I have found one of my favorite things to do no matter where I go. Like, I'm very, very outdoorsy of like I said, I'm a tree hugger. I love nature. If there is a body of water anywhere in sight and I can rent or buy a kayak, please, I am obsessed with kayaking. Camping, love camping in a tent. When I went camping in Indiana with my family, we had the camper, and that was just so much fun. Hooking up a camper for the first time in my life, learning how to back up a camper. Like, I'm just obsessed with all of that. And hiking to the day I die. But I have found that I am equally as obsessed with little towns. Oh my gosh. Little town full of antique thrift malls. Oh my gosh. I have visited every little antique store, even the boutiques that charge like literally $45 for a fucking scrunchie. Like, it's just a new town. And old Jenny would have been like, new people and new faces and personalities. And I just like, don't look at me. I'm in my sweatpants. Please. I just slept in my car last night. My back fucking hurts and I just want to see what's in your shop. Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. And I feel horrible for being like that. Of course, I'm very nice when I actually do come across human beings. I speak to them and meet them, and I feel a lot better once I do break from that shell and I do start conversing and socializing. I'm just very guarded and very antisocial right now, but it's just like a new little coffee shop, and what does their caramel syrup taste like? And oh my gosh, look at all the little things that they sell in this shop. Like, if I were to live here, would this be my spot? Or would it be that cute little bakery across the street? Let me go see, like, if I were to live in a place like this, like, what right now my local stop, my local place is Dunkin', but there's also some little, like I said, little cafes and restaurants, and some of the food that I've had here has been amazing. This little ice cream shop, they used to be a bridal formal wear and tuxedo shop, and COVID caused them to shut down. It was called like Tanya's Tuxedos or something. And so since COVID started, they turned their formal wear shop into an ice cream shop. And some of the, oh my gosh, so good. Actually, I should get some of that before I leave Pennsylvania. I need some more of that cappuccino crunch. It's coffee flavored ice cream with chunks, the most delicious chunks of fudge. And it might have been like little bits of toffee, which I do not like toffee. I think toffee is disgusting. But for some reason in this cappuccino crunch ice cream is so good. Literally, what the F is this episode about? I have talked about just I don't even know what, guys, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm so sorry. Oh, but like I always say, and some of you guys have messaged me, it just feels like you're talking to your best friend. I feel like I'm talking to Shelly right now. These are the types of conversations that we have. And you guys hear me talk about Shelly all the time. You're probably like, you know what? I need to have an episode with her soon. Oh, I wish we'd get on here. It would be freaking hilarious. And she kept telling me that we were going to do it in Colorado, and we never did. Because we wouldn't shut up and we wouldn't stop talking about other things. But, what was I saying? Yeah, I love the little shops and like the buildings and the history. And I need to like actually stop at like maybe some visitor centers or talk to locals, like I said, and actually socialize and learn history of the places that I go to. That's actually, like I was saying, remember I said I want to like interview people for TikTok. That's what I've been wanting to do for content, and I'm like, I'm shy now. I'm so annoying. If I would just stop being shy and just go back to being the Jenny that would run around with a spoon in my hand, interviewing people in the Macy's at 16 years old, acting like I'm on the red carpet, oh, I would have so much fun. I miss those days. I miss me. It's me, Jessica. I'm in here. How many times have I said that on this episode too? I mean, on this podcast. But anyways, yeah, that's definitely been my favorite. I will say though, I have yet to find a sushi restaurant that has sushi as good as the sushi in Indiana. There is a place called the Sticky Elbow in, I want to say it's Williamsport, Pennsylvania, if it's not in Montoursville. I believe it was in Williamsport that we found it. The Sticky Elbow. Hole in the wall. I don't even know if you really would notice it or think much of it driving down the street. Going inside, you're like, oh, this is kind of cute, but it's like, it's not all that great. The most delicious food. What did I even have? It was like pork belly tacos. They have all kinds of things on their menu. Sushi was on there. I should go back and try the sushi. It probably still would not compare to Umi, but Nick had, what did he have? He had an elk burger. Oh my gosh. Just like things like that. Bison. They had a bison burger and like just good looking and sounding food. We were shocked. I was surprised at how good it was. So there's that. Riss's place is the little place where I got like Reuben sandwiches and the really good egg rolls and wings and burgers. That place was really good in Montoursville. And the ice cream shop that I was talking about, so cute. It's called Faddies, Faddies, just in case you're interested. But where was I going with this? So I have yet to find a place that has sushi as good as Umi Sushi in Crown Point. And I have yet to find, what was the other thing? Oh, an antique mall as good as back home in Indiana. Something about, I don't know what it even is. Is it just like, why are there such good things in antique malls in Indiana? They're amazing. I'm obsessed. I honestly can't wait to go home to walk around there. The retail therapy you get and the window shopping therapy. Oh my gosh. The antique malls around here is like really, really, really old stuff. Like there's literally no reason that you would buy it. And the thrift stores is just kind of like junky. And maybe I haven't found a good one. Definitely haven't found a Butterbell. The antique mall in the downtown Williamsport that I saw, I don't even remember the name of it. The one thing that they did have really good was a lot of sterling silver jewelry, like rings, really pretty rings with like stones and rocks and things like that. And I really want to go back to go live with you guys because jewelry was one thing in Florida that we went thrifting for, and they were like kind of cheapy jewelry rings. So they were cheaper. They were like $10-13, but these were like nice rings if you want really pretty rings. The only other place that I found that I liked maybe as much closely similar to as much as like the ones back home is that Brass Armadillo shop on TikTok. I went live there and you guys were shopping for rings and stuff with me, and I was shipping them to you from, I think it was in Colorado. It was like in Denver or something like that. But that place was humongo. But I've just kind of been chilling, and my car has blown a fuse, so I cannot charge my generator while I drive. I can't charge my phone, which is why I've been hanging out in a Dunkin' all day, because that's where I charge my battery. And then, as you saw on my TikTok, maybe, I woke up one morning and there was a car horn just going off, just like, I'm like, who the F is honking their horn like that right now? And it's happened like 2 or 3 times, and it just like stops, and then you don't hear it anymore, and it calms down. And it did it again this morning when I woke up, and I was like, who keeps coming to this Walmart and honking their horn like this? And I got to the front of the car and I realized it's my car. My Jeep. And that was like, oh, it's the fuse. Something's blown the fuse. Obviously, there's something wrong with fuses. There's a shortage. Somebody told me that there's something causing the wires to go bazooka. Maybe there's a penny in the cigarette lighter, and there's not, because my cigarette lighter blew while I was just sitting in the car. The car was on. I was charging the generator, and it just went, and it stopped out of nowhere. So I know it's not like a penny or something stuck in there. And so I went and I got fuses, and I learned how to change a fuse, and that did nothing. So I blew like 2 or 3 fuses already trying to fix the issue, and apparently I'm going to have to see an electrician for the car to figure that out. I don't know what is wrong with it, But there's obviously some issues with the wiring. And my ID has expired, so I'm driving around with an expired driver's license. And I guess being a DoorDasher, they must keep track of that. So they're like, hey, verify your identity so that you can keep door dashing. And so I went to upload a picture of my ID, and that's when I realized it was expired. And they're like, sorry, we can't verify your identity. We don't know who you are, so you can't DoorDash anymore. And now there's no way for me to even go in the app to upload it, like a picture of my new ID. I'm trying to have somebody send me my ID to me out here so that I can update it, but now I can't even do that, and my account is under review. And so for the last month I have not been able to DoorDash, and so that's my extra little source of income right now. And there's a lot of signs pointing me in the direction of get your ass back home. My debit card was lost. I think it fell out of my pocket, and I don't know how that happened because it was in the back of my jean pocket, and my jeans are tight against my butt, so it just must have wiggled its way on out of my ass. And so I had to cancel that, and they sent my new debit card to, I don't know, probably my mom's house in Indiana. And it's Shelly. I was going to go visit her, and she's in London. And she got back home from London, and then she was like, hopping on the plane again to go somewhere else because she's a flight attendant. So she's not even home to go and show up and surprise her. And it's already starting to warm up back home, and I need to fix the camper. So anyways, that was a lot of me talking, and hopefully I just kept you company. But for anyone who joins these little podcast episodes with me to maybe lift their spirits and get some sort of, I don't know, connection, relatability, therapy type things, I just want to say thank you for being here. I feel alone a lot of the time. I'm a very, very lonely person, and the fact that there are a couple people asking me to keep doing these episodes is proof that it's not true, and there's people out there who do think of you and miss you and love you, care about you, want to check in with you. And if people feel that way about me, there surely there are people out there who think that way and feel that way for you. And a lot of you guys who listen to these have children. And I think I've said in the past, maybe I haven't, I've probably said this to close friends. My situation that I've been through, I would give anything to have kids, to give me something to live for, to look forward to seeing their little faces every day. And then other people have told me, Jenny, with what you've been going through, having kids would be a billion times worse. But everybody's situation is different. And if you've got kiddos and you were able to have fun with them on Easter and you were watching their little egg hunt, like just remember them. They think this way, and they feel that love, and they look up to you whether you think they do or not. They come to you for advice. They come to you for help, for kisses, for hugs, for snuggles. Like, just keep going. Just hang in there for them. And right now I'm keeping on going for me, but the fact that there's somebody here listening to this is also a little push, a little bit of hope for me, you know. So thank you for being here. And if you were purchasing little hoops from me on Instagram, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And hopefully I will have some better content for you. other than rambling and just losing my train of thought all the time. But hopefully I can make it back to some people who, oh god, I'm yawning. Oh no. Oh my Lanta, I'm sorry. I'm so sleepy. It's 2:48 in the morning. But hopefully I can head back to some people who are wanting to jump on some episodes with me so that we can have some fun and play games and it's not just a shit show. But thank you guys for being here. Thank you for being patient with me and for giving me some time to come down from all of the shit that has happened. My life is just a mess right now. And hopefully that's another thing that makes you be like, oh, I guess I'm okay. Because my life's not as much of a mess as Jenwin's. Or maybe it is. And guess what? We could just be shit shows together. We're all effed up. And guess what? We're all gonna die. Please tell me that anybody in here knows that quote from Atlantis. Actually, that's another thing I'm gonna put on a hoop. We're all gonna die. So, since we're all gonna die, just don't forget to love yourself. Because that's all that matters in the end. That's really all that matters. Love yourself, because you never know when is your last day on earth. Not to leave you on a morbid note, but it's true, guys. It's true. I love you, and I'm grateful for you. Thank you for being here. And then I said, bye, puta.
So do-do-do.